Hi everyone, I'm Liz, and welcome back to Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch for Flosstube episode 56. Welcome back to another Sunday Flosstube video. I'm Liz and I am going to talk to you about my cross stitch and my quilting and my sewing that I got up to this week. First, sorry I wasn't here last week. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw that unfortunately I lost my kitty cat Birdie last weekend, and I was just, you know, I was too sad. It would have been a very sad video if I had tried to film. I would have been like, here. And I'm trying not to do that this week. So he was 15, but it was unexpected because he hadn't been sick. He just got sick over a couple of weeks really quickly. He ended up losing almost half his body weight. He was having difficulty breathing. There was masses in his lungs, and you know, it was the humane and nice. I mean, it's just really hard. I have never had to make that decision to put down an animal and because of illness. I've lost pets before, but it's a really hard thing to do, to make that decision and to be there while, you know, saying goodbye. So anyways, I've been a little bit sad this week, and to distract myself, I have been crafting nonstop. I've been making a lot of stuff this past week. 2 of the items are for gifts. So once my family members have received those gifts, I'll show them to you. So, but I have plenty of other stuff to show. So, what do I want to get started with? Talking about my dead cat at the start is a recipe for disaster, because now I'm going to be so distracted. We take a second, then we'll get into the stitching. Okay, let's start with an FFO, and this is a sewing project that I showed you in my last video that I was almost completed with, or that I had almost completed, and it is this. It is the By Annie Zip It Up pattern in the large size, and so it is basically just my version of an uber deluxe project case. So it has a little carrying handle. It's just kind of like a soft-sided binder. If anyone remembers, speaking of school supply shopping from weeks ago when I kept bringing it up, I feel like 5 Star used to make the like soft-sided binders, right? Like notebook binders. I don't know. Anyways, so I just love it, and I made it in a print to match my ultimate travel bag that I made by Annie. By Annie. So this is coming with me to the retreat next week to match my bag, and it will hold all my projects that I bring to stitch on while I'm not working on like a class project or something. So the outside has a big full zipper pocket that will hold like my iPad Pro, or I mean a whole cross stitch project, honestly. And then it is zipped all the way around. And here's the inside. So I used the Lori Holt cheater print from Flea Market, and I did a mesh pocket here that zips and a vinyl pocket here. And so both of these pockets are big enough to fit the full like 8.5 by 11 pattern with your fabric, you know, thread, scissors, everything like that. So yes, I am very pleased with how this all turned out. And yeah, so I'll bring this with me next week. If you see me in person, you'll probably see this. Oh, a couple of things I was going to mention. So this pattern definitely took a lot less time than the ultimate travel bag, but I found this one almost just as difficult. And it was because this binding is visible. So I had to be super, you know, careful and precise to make it look nice, and it looks okay, but it's not like the highest quality. On the travel bag, the only edges I was binding were either flat pockets, excuse me, or on the interior where there were all the curves, but it was the lining. So it's like, you know, you're not as careful on the lining, right? It's like not visible. So this was super difficult to get this binding through all of the layers of, you know, the soft and stable, the fabric, the zipper, you know, to hug the curves and look as nice as I wanted. So this was not an easy stitch, but, you know, I'm super pleased with the results. I think it's super cute and I can't wait to use it. So anyways, okay, that's my bag. Next up, I had a cross stitch finish this week, and I finished the Cricut Collection sugar cookies. I love this one, and I know you guys too, because you guys do too, because I just posted it on my Instagram yesterday, and yeah, there are a lot of comments, and I can't believe how many of you are also stitching this or have this in your stash. I had never seen this chart until last Christmas. I can't even remember where I came across it, but yeah, I think I love some Cricut Collection now. It was just super fun to stitch. You know, I like stitching letters, even though these aren't traditional like sampler letters. These are, you know, checked big giant letters, but I still had so much fun stitching all of these little motifs and all of the little sugar cookies, and I just absolutely love how it turned out. So let me show it to you. And here is sugar cookies. So I stitched mine on 40 count R&R Lucky Penny, which apparently is super difficult to find. I got my fat quarter of it at kittenstitcher.com. I'm not sure if it's like a out of print, no, what's the word? Discontinued color, but Dying to Stitch in Virginia, I believe, is the shop where the R2R dyers work, or that's, anyways, I think that shop always has the stock, or you can order, like custom order. So maybe try calling Dying to Stitch and seeing if you can get Lucky Penny. But anyways, yeah, I absolutely love this color. I think it's so cool. It's so hard to photograph. So like this right here, as you're seeing it, is very true. Even better than I think the Instagram I posted, because it's just so hard to photograph. So yeah, that's my sugar cookies. I used all the called for DMC colors. There's some little French knots and back stitching, and mostly just full cross. So I'm very excited to get this one done, and I want to make it into some sort of sign hanging finish for my kitchen for Christmas. So I got to think about that over the next few months. Okay, so let's talk cross stitch whips. I had just a couple. I was pretty monogamous this past 2 weeks. I got to finish on sugar cookies, and I only stitched on 2 other things except for a couple little secret projects. So let me start with Labor for Learning by Plum Street Samplers. This one's getting so close to a finish, but I still haven't done any more of the over one. I know I'm just leaving it for last and then it's gonna linger, but I'll get there. So here is Labor for Learning. Oh, I love it. Just the colors are so pretty on this, and just the layout. I know I've talked about it before. I just love the way the side flower borders come out from the bottom. I think it's gorgeous. So I'm stitching this one on 36 count Nougat by Seraphim Fabrics with all of the called for overdyed flosses. That's Labor for Learning. So my next whip is out of the Home for the Holidays book, and it is the Christmas Garden Sampler by Blackbird Designs. And so I started this one last year in September for Sampler September, which is now upon us. And so last year for Sampler September, I started 4 new samplers, 1 per week, and worked on some older whips throughout the month as well. And since I worked on my Christmas garden this week, I thought, let me pull out my Sampler September projects from last year and show you guys where they're all at. So, Christmas garden, let's start with that. So here is my Christmas garden progress. I love this so much. It's on one of my favorite fabrics ever, which is 36 count Picture This Plus sand. And I made it all the way across the top half and have started down on the second half. And I love it so much. I changed my red to ruby slippers and my gold to bee's knees. And I started this one on September 1st of 2020 with Celeste Creates. It was our hashtag September Christmas Garden Sal. And well, I did not finish mine. Celeste did, and it's gorgeous. But here's where mine's at. And I definitely want to keep working on this one this month. I've been having a lot of fun stitching on this one. So I'm going to keep this one in the rotation, as it were, for the next little while. Okay, so the next up for Sampler September last year, I started the Scarlet House and Topley 1802. This one's gorgeous. I feel like a lot of people have finished this one in the last year. I think Carol Saltbox Stitcher, and I know I've seen other people I follow on Instagram working on this one, and I can't think of it right now, but I think, oh, I know Kim, Barbara's daughter, was working on this one. So yeah, so I started this one as the next Sampler September, and I wish I had gotten more progress on this throughout the year. I don't know that I worked on it since Sampler September. It's definitely one I want to finish, but here is my progress on Ann Topley. I love how it looks on this fabric. This is a 36 count, let me consult my list, 36 count Weeks Dye Works Twilight, and I'm using the called for overdyed threads, except I think I changed that blue color because the gray called for it matched the fabric too much. But other than that, it's all called for. Okay, and then the next Sampler September project that I started was from the Sewing Club book by Blackbird Designs, Tiny Treetops Rose or Thyme. And you may remember that I finished that one. So here's what this one looks like. I finished this, I think, in January or February as part of my like samplerary. And yeah, so I got this one framed. Well, I framed it myself, but I bought the custom frame at Michael's, and I just love how this one turned out. Oh, try to tilt it so you don't get the museum glass always does that weird greeny glare. So yay, I finished one of my Sampler September starts last year. Let's see, what did I stitch this one on? 36 count. Let me consult my list. .36 count Picture This Plus doubloon with all of the called for flosses, which I think were all Weeks Dye Works. So, Tiny Treetops. Oh, I don't know how to floss tube anymore. Okay, and then this last project is the one I think I want to set as a goal to finish during this year's Sampler September. We'll see. I don't want to set too many goals right now because it's unpredictable, but I do think I'm going to keep this one out and I'm going to bring it with me next week to the retreat, just because it's on 36 count, so it's an easier one, quicker one for me to stitch, easier to see. So this last Sampler September 2020 start that I had was Birds of a Feather, Sally Spencer. This is an out of print chart. I know it's a unicorn for a lot of people, and anytime I show it on my channel, I get a lot of DMs about it. I'm not interested in selling it. I have it promised to someone to borrow after this, so apologies. I can't promise this to anyone else right now, but just look around on the D-stash pages and go Good luck. Yeah, I bought this out of a D-stash because I know it's super hard to find. But yes, Sally Spencer by Birds of a Feather. And here is my progress on Sally Spencer. So I'm stitching this one on 36 count Lakeside Vintage Sand Dune. And I did change a couple of the colors. Let me see if I made notes about what I changed. I have written down called for, but I know I changed the white at least to something brighter. Maybe that's all I did. Maybe I just changed it to a brighter white, but definitely going for the same feel as the sampler. If I changed any other colors, maybe the light blue. I think maybe I changed the light blue because it wasn't showing up, but anyways, it's pretty much the same as the original called for. So yeah, so I made it about halfway down, I think, or maybe that third row of letters would be the halfway point. So I definitely think I could get this one done in September if I keep this out in my rotation all month. So I think that's my Sampler September plan. I didn't want 4 new starts. I've been making pretty good progress, I think, on finishing things lately, although I feel like I'm only finishing smalls, but that's okay. So I don't know, I just didn't want to do 4 new starts. I definitely want to focus on samplers this month. Christmas Garden's going to stay in rotation. This one for sure is, and then there's a couple others in my whip collection that I want to get out, including Winter Rose Manor, because I really got like 2/3 of the way done with that one and I haven't touched it since winter, and maybe I'll get that one out soon. So anyways, so I don't really have like firm Sampler September plans, or just kind of loosey-goosey, but this one will stay in the rotation. So I, of course, already put my age, my 2020 age in there. So it's a little behind the times now. And then I was putting in all the initials of my craftiest female relatives. So all my sisters and my mom, my aunts, and yeah, so I'm excited to have this one done. And I really want like some sort of red frame. I think it was Olivia at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts who framed hers recently in a red frame, and it's gorgeous. So I'm definitely going to be looking into some red frames once I get this one done. Okay, so that's the cross stitch that I've been working on the past few weeks and stuff I want to work on the rest of the month. I've got a couple quilty items to show you now. Okay, I finished a quilt. Here it is. Of course, I'll insert some full photos for you, but I'll give you some close-ups here, so you can kind of see the big kind of weird daisies, I think they are, I used. I love the quilting on this. Yeah, so it's all back. I think I told you guys 2 weeks ago when I tried to quilt this, we had a little mishap and had to seam rip out the whole first row of quilting, which was brutal. And then the quilt shop actually quilted this for me last week. And so I went and picked it up and it turned out so good. So, yeah, I'll put some pictures and video of it full, you know, size here. So I used the Sweet Home quilt pattern by Sharon Holland Designs, finally remembered the name of it. And I used the fabric line Cozy and Magical by Maureen Cracknell. And I'll link both of those items below. I used a fat quarter bundle to create this gorgeous quilt. And then I used some of her coordinates for the background. This is like white with little red stars. And then this is one of the lines, or one of the fabrics from the line, which I use on the back, which is just all these little houses. which I think is just so cute on the back of this quilt. So yeah, I just am absolutely thrilled with how this turned out, and it's a gift for somebody, not for you. No. So yes, this one is a gift. I have a whole nother fat quarter bundle though, right up there, to do something with for me. I don't know if I'll make this exact same quilt. I might, or I'll think of something else. I have so many quilt ideas lately, like so many quilt ideas. I've been making a lot of quilts, as you'll see in a minute, because I got another one to show you. So let's go to that one. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention about this quilt is that I filmed myself doing the binding yesterday afternoon. And I completely forgot. So I've had a lot of people ask about how I do my binding, and I just thought I would insert, oh, there's some loose threads, of course. Until this is like washed, dried, and I've like inspected it fully, there's like, I always find these just like little random 1-inch threads. Anyways, so I recorded myself doing my sew on binding. I did all the binding my machine, and yeah, I'll let that play for you now, and I'll kind of talk you through my process. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing here is squaring up my fabric so that I can cut it into 2.5-inch strips for the binding. I use a just a folded over 2.5-inch strip to do my machine binding. And then here at this step, I am sewing the binding pieces end to end at a 45-degree angle, just to spread out the fabric throughout the seam. And so I use the, let's see, I guess it's like a seam guide tape. It's a washi tape that's a seam guide. And that I use that to help me line up my 45-degree angles without having to mark them ahead of time. And then I just trim off all of the excess fabric and I start ironing. And I am just ironing the seams open where I've joined my binding pieces, and then ironing all of the binding in half. Okay, so now I am going to attach the binding to my quilt, and I sew the binding onto the back of my quilt first and then fold it over to the front to finish. And so on the back of the quilt, I'm using just my basic sewing foot that has about a 3/8 of an inch width on it in order to get my 3/8 inch wide seam allowance. And here in the corners, I just wanted to show you one in kind of real speed. And so I stop about 3/8 of an inch from the corner and then pivot and do a 45-degree angle. And then here what I'm doing is prepping my binding to turn the corner. So I fold the binding strip straight up and create a 45-degree angle in the corner. And then once I have that marked, I fold the binding strip back down to meet the edge of the quilt and kind of hold that fold in place in the corner. And then I set my foot down where I want to start sewing and reverse stitch a few stitches just to hold everything in place. And then I'm ready to sew down the next side of my quilt. And I'm just repeating this all the way around all of the edges of the quilt. Okay, so apologies, this part kind of got cut off. I didn't realize I wasn't on camera, but now I am joining up the ends of my binding, so it's one continuous piece. And to do that, I just folded my binding strips over and marked where they met and then sewed them together. And now I am just attaching that last bit of binding. So now here I am folding that binding over to the front of the quilt, and I am top stitching with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance on the edge of my binding, making sure that I am catching just the top edge of my binding strip on the front, and then on the back the sewing line is actually just to the left side of the edge of the binding. And so I'm using a white thread because my background of my quilt on the front and the back is white, and so that just kind of blends the best if I get a little bit off track. And so really all I'm doing on these long sides is making sure that the edge of my binding covers up that original sewing line from sewing my binding onto the back of the quilt. And then in the corners, I am following a similar process that I do when I make my project bags, where I fold in the mitered corners and I sew up the edge of the mitered corner just a few stitches to kind of hold everything into place really nicely. So that is my sweet home quilt. All done. Okay, now we can move on. Okay, so next up I have my kitty corn quilt. Quilt top. It's not completed yet. So this one isn't an FFO, it's just the quilt top. But here it is. It's kind of small, so I can kind of show you most of it. The cutest part though is the little panel of the kitty. So this is my first ever applique, guys, and I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, so I'll insert a big picture of it here so you can see it. Okay, so I made up this quilt pattern myself, although it is based on a number of different things, so I'll tell you about that now if you want to recreate this style of quilt top. So I bought one charm pack of kitty corn by Urban Chicks from Moda, and I bought 1 yard of background fabric, which was, I used the candy corn print as my background fabric. And so what I did was I just paired up the charm squares. I paired each, like a light and a dark, just like a more dominant fabric and a lighter fabric as best as I could. So I just paired up all my fabrics, and then I used a tutorial I found that I'll link to on how to turn 2 charm squares into 2 4-patch blocks. So each of my pairs of charm squares got turned into a 4-patch. So there's one of them, and then there's another one somewhere in this quilt top. So each of your 2 charm squares would give you 2 of these blocks, and these blocks finished at 4 inches. And so basically I made all kinds of 4-patches, and then I cut out all of my background squares, and I started laying out the quilt in an on-point setting, which is also something I'd never done before. It seems so complicated, but it really wasn't. I found this really cool conversion chart that tells you, like, if your blocks are this size, what your side triangles, top triangles, corner triangles, like what size to cut those so you can make like an on-point quilt. I'll insert some pictures as we go of kind of what my layout looked like and how I started building out all the rows. So that was the first step, is to build out the quilt top. And then I had the panel from Moda, and I did the fusible, double-sided fusible applique tutorial, raw edge applique. And I used some black thread and a blanket stitch to stitch down all of my applique edges. And it went pretty well. This is my first time doing it. I think next time I might do the technique where you take out some of the interfacing that's in the center, because like this whole pumpkin is interfaced, when really it just kind of needs to be the edges while you like sew everything down, but that's okay. This is for a wall hanging, so even if, you know, it stays a little bit stiff after quilting, it's not a big deal because this one's just a wall hanging. But I think if I was doing applique on a bed quilt, I would for sure use a little bit less fusible. And I actually, in my haul, I'll show you a book I got this week too that's all about applique, and it has some tips in there because I think I want to try it some more. Yeah, so that's my kitty corn quilt. This one is next up on the to be quilted agenda, because I want to get this one up on the wall and part of my Halloween decorations. So I'm very excited to have this one almost done. Okay, so I also got some, well, not some, a lot of things in the mail these past 2 weeks. A lot of stuff I bought and a lot of really lovely happy mail that really made my entire week this week. It was a really hard week, and when Rob would come home from whatever grocery store running errands, and he'd have mail in his hands, and there would be like a card or a little package from one of you guys. It was so nice. I don't know why I'm laughing about it. I have trouble expressing my emotions sometimes. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciated it. And let me show you what I got. First up, I got a Ziploc bag full of zippers, and I love it. Judy had asked me if I wanted a big bag of 14-inch zippers because she had bought way too many, and I think she was looking to unload some because she was like, I don't think I'm ever going to make this many project bags. So I was like, yes, I will take them. And she told me that when she went to the UPS store, they were like, is there a zipper shortage in Texas? Because she was mailing all of these zippers to me. No shortage, but I will take them. And I've already, actually, the reason the bag is open is because I've already used one. So thanks, Judy. Next, I got the nicest card from 2 viewers, and let's see, Stacy and Heidi. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Heidi. They're crafty friends, cross stitch friends, and they both ordered 2 needle minders from my shop to give one to their friend, and so they both did that, and now they just have 4 needle minders. So there's ghosts. No, stuff sliding off the table over here because I have too much stuff, as always. So Heidi and Stacy, thank you. I love the note. If you need to initiate a refund, let me know. If you need something to do with those 2 extra needle minders, I'll take them back. Speaking of the needle minders, so the pre-order link is still live in my shop, and I just got a shipping notification that the needle minders are on their way to me. So I don't know if I'll have time to get them out before I leave on Thursday for Kansas City, but they definitely, all of the pre-ordered needle minders will ship the week of the 13th, September 13th. Is that a Monday? I don't know. You know, I'm gone the 9th through the 12th. So the next day, I think it's the 13th, a Monday. So that day is when all the needle minders will ship out. So I think after I do all the pre-orders, I'll have about 150 of them left in stock just to be up in my shop for anytime anyone wants to order one. So I'll link my Etsy down below in case you want a needle minder. I also got a really lovely thank you note from Denise, who had won one of my 1-year pattern giveaways. I can't remember, but thank you, Denise. I love it. And then I also got from Lisa, I'll put a picture in of the packaging because it was so cute, and of course I ripped into it immediately. But she had found these 2 kits at a thrift store for 95 cents each, and she was like, I thought you might like them. So she passed them on to me, and she wrapped them up in tissue paper and put candy, and it was the greatest. Thank you. So the 2 kits are so cute. This one's a Busilla kit, and it's like a felt applique Halloween kit with the witch, and I mean, how stinking cute is that? So it's like a little wall hanging. And then this one, I mean, this one might have to get made immediately. This one is Hocus Pocus Halloween baskets. And so they're little like candy baskets or candy totes for kids. And look how stinking cute they are. So thanks, Lisa. She passed these on to me and my mom. Okay, so yes, it was addressed to me and my mom. It got here on Friday, and my mom's actually having, or no, not Friday, Wednesday. On Wednesday when my mom had surgery. So just like my mom update, she finally got to have surgery for her bulging disc in her back that was causing all the sciatic nerve pain and like weakness and was making her unable to walk. Everything went well. So she's like recovering now from that and feeling, I think, loads better, just like recovering from surgery rather than searing back pain. And so anyways, I wasn't able to go see her on Wednesday because she was in the hospital and then recovering. And anyways, so I opened it for her and sent her pictures on Thursday. But yes, she loves them too. So thank you so much, Lisa. Okay, I've kind of got a ridiculous amount of haul. So I'll try and go quick. Everything has shown up in these last 2 weeks. So I have some Fat Quarter Shop clubs that I belong to. One of them is the NPI Silk Club. This is the August club. So all the yellows. I got my Fat Quarter Shop. This was actually not a club. This was a pre-order. This is the Laundry Basket Quilts. Cute as a button, or is that just the, no, Little Sweetheart Fat Quarter Bundle. Did I show this? I think I showed this 2 weeks ago, didn't I? Probably. Anyways, I got this Fat Quarter bundle. I don't have anywhere to put anything anymore. I'll take a picture of the table and insert it so you can see what I'm working with. Okay, I know this one's new. This one is part of my Fat Quarter Shop Moda Fat Quarter Club. So once a month I get 12 Moda Fat Quarters from one of the new lines. And so this one is called Through the Woods. And it's just really pretty grays and yellows. These aren't entirely my colors, but they're really pretty. So I don't know what I'll end up doing with this one. It might end up being like a gift quilt or something for somebody who I know likes these colors, or yeah, I don't know, but it's really pretty. Okay, I got the Prairie Schooler June. I really want to make some of these into little pillows over here. I don't know that I'll do the big sampler, but I wanted the little pillows. So I got June. Let's see. And then from Hobby House Needleworks, I got this Scarlet House We Are the Sampler Makers. Somebody was stitching this recently and I was like, I'm gonna need that chart in my stash. And it uses one of the Homestead Needleworks boards, which I love finishing things on. Homestead Needleworks is on Etsy. And yeah, so I should probably just go ahead and buy the board, even though I don't have plans to stitch this yet, but just in case. And then I got some flosses I needed. What else? Oh my gosh. Okay. So also from Fat Quarter Shop, I picked up the 2021 Christmas ornament issue of Just Cross Stitch 2021 holiday issue. And I flipped through it last night because I got it, I think, in the mail yesterday, and I love it. There's so many cute ones, but you know what it made me do? It made me go buy something else, because on the back was this Mill Hill advertisement. And look at this cute Christmas envelope ornament. Oh, it's so small. Okay, anyways, go look it up. It's Mill Hill, what's the name of it? It doesn't say, but it's like a Christmas envelope. It's one of their new Christmas ones for this year. So that's on its way to me. But yeah, got that magazine. And then the last thing I got from Fat Quarter Shop was Pat Sloan's Teach Me How to Applique. And so I watch Pat Sloan videos on YouTube, and she's just been quilting forever and is a wealth of knowledge. So I saw that she had this Teach Me to Applique, which uses fusible and the raw edge, like blanket stitch technique, which is what I started with. And I really like a lot of the projects, especially, to be honest, this flower one. And then here's kind of some more samplings, which they're not all my colors, but just the techniques in here. Like, I skimmed through the book last night and I can't wait to like read it more fully. And once I have like another applique quilt I want to make, to use the techniques and stuff that she recommends in here. So got that book for my little library. Also from my favorite zipper store on Etsy, Zip It. I got some more zippers, some real long ones. These are very handy when you're doing a by Annie pattern, and really just anything, because you can cut them down to any size. So I just bought like a multi-pack of kind of, you know, pastel-y type color. I don't know, just some fun colors. I bought this when I bought the big red zipper that goes all around that case I made, the project bag case. So I got some more zipper. I'm like, I'm not gonna run out of zippers anytime soon. Oh yeah, and then the other thing, or the last thing I think I got in the mail, is that the last? I think so, is the Caterpillar Cross Stitch Lucky Nutcracker Sal. So here's the kind of preview image, and I got the 28 count even weave, although I'm doubting I'm gonna use this to stitch it with, if I'm honest, because I can't get away from my 36 and 40. But I have the 28 count, and then the floss colors called for, and it comes with the color key and instructions, and it's a PDF pattern. So what day does this start? Let's see, does it say on the kit? Oh, it doesn't say. I think it starts soon. September, 17th of September. So a couple weeks from now is when it starts. And I had ordered some Aida, some like hand-dyed Aida from 123 Stitch for my sister, because she also wants to stitch this. So I bought her just like the PDF download. And for some reason, it kept letting me add different stuff to my cart, but when I would check out, then I'd get an email being like, oh, out of stock, shipping soon. So I don't have all your stuff, but we have until the 17th, Al, so I'll get you kitted up. Oh, and I also, she also sent me the little Nutcracker needle minder, which is adorable. So cute. So I'm all set for that one. I think I'm gonna hand dye some fabric for myself for that one. We'll see. And what else? What else? I think that's all of the stuff that came in the mail to my house. Now, let me do a giveaway. So last week I had offered up the Hello from Liz Matthews chart After the Rain. I did a color collaboration with Liz Matthews to pick my own color palette for this chart. And so she very kindly sent me 2 of these, one for myself and one to give away to you guys. And so, yeah, so let me, I just realized I haven't picked a winner. Let me pick a winner and then I'll tell you who won this. Oh my gosh. So I just did the random comment picker. 160 of you entered to win. And the winner of this chart is Evelyn across the pond. Hi, Evelyn. I'm going to send you this chart. So congratulations, Evelyn. Also congratulations on your engagement. I don't remember. I know you talked a little bit about wedding planning. Have you talked any more? I need to go watch and see if I'm up to date. I think I'm up to date on all your videos. Now I'm just talking aloud to myself about Evelyn across the pond. Hi, congrats. Okay, I also do have some more charts to give away to you guys. Let me grab them. Okay, so the lovely Carla, who runs cobwebcorner.com, she offered to send me a couple of charts for a giveaway and a couple of charts for myself. And so I took her up on that offer, and let me show you, well, let me show you, I guess, the ones that I picked for myself. I don't know, apparently I'm trying to collect all the Christmas charts in the world. So I got this Prairie Schooler Christmas samplers, and the one I most want to do is the center one, which is the Night Before Christmas themed. I just love it. So I got this one for myself, and then I also got this one to stitch for Rob because he loves Halloween, and I want this to be like a little hanger thing in his office. And it's the Miss Fortune, what do you call it? Miss Fortune, it's a kit. So it has everything. It's like a Mill Hill kit. It comes with the floss, the beads, the sequins. It comes with the black perforated paper, and even comes with a needle in there. So this is like really cool. And she had several of these kits. So they have Satsuma Street as the designer, and she does all of these cool Halloween kits. Like, I love this crazy cat. Like, I might need to get that one too. And I think Rob really liked the Nevermore, the like raven with the skull as well. So anyways, these are just super cool kits. So I got this one to do as well. And I might even just start that today because I don't know. I really like working on the like perforated paper, like the little Mill Hill style kits. So okay, but so giveaways for you guys. So in honor of all things fall stitching, it's, you know, we're at Labor Day tomorrow, right? So it's fall, y'all. I got one of my favorite fall stitches, Ye Old Crow Sampler. So this will be up for grabs. I'll insert a picture of my finish because I don't have it out right here. Or actually, let me grab it. Okay, here's mine. So here is my version of Ye Old Crow, and I stitched this on 36 count Weeks Tiger Eye linen, and I used, I think, the called for Onyx floss. And yeah, I absolutely love this one. And so I thought, why don't I give this chart to one of you guys? So if you want to be entered to win either of these giveaways, just please be a subscriber to my channel and like the video and leave a comment. And this one, the keyword will be crow. So just use the word crow in your comment and I'll know you want to be entered to win this one. And then the next chart I grabbed is Christmas themed because I cannot stop stitching on Christmas lately. So I thought, let me pass along some Christmas love. And this is another super cute Prairie Schooler. I just really love Prairie Schooler Christmas. It's really cute. And this is Santa's Night. And this is one that's done on black, although I'm sure you could change it up to a neutral, but I really like the look of the black as the night sky. So if you're interested in winning the Prairie Schooler Santa's Night, just leave, or just use the word Santa in your comment. So Santa and crow, and I'll know that you want to be entered to win these. Okay, and then I'll do the drawing for that giveaway in 2 weeks. I won't be here next week because, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'll be going to Kansas City next weekend for the Quilter Station cross stitch retreat. I cannot wait. I'm very excited. I have been texting a little bit with Liz Matthews and Stephanie and Pam because I'm going to see those guys there. So we were like, where are we going to get barbecue? I'm also very excited about everyone else. I think Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher, I think you're going to be there. And Lori, Textilist, is going to be there. Farm Girl. I'm like totally fangirling. I'm like, oh, and this person. I'm excited. And then so many of you guys have DM'd me and left me comments being like, can't wait to see you. So I can't wait to meet you guys in person. Please come say hi. I'll be the one who looks like this. Hopefully I don't look like this. Because I'm not a morning person. I think we start at 9 a.m. on Thursday, which is like a totally reasonable, you know, I have meetings at 9 a.m. but I also just get to like roll out of my bed and jump on a laptop and do those meetings. I'm gonna have to like look presentable at 9 a.m. It's fine. I'll make it happen. I'm so not a morning person though. If if there's any evening stitching nights at the retreat, that's where you'll find me. I am a 8 p.m. to midnight. That's like, those are my hours. That's where I get all my crafting done. Okay. Yeah. What else do I have to share? Wedding updates. I hired a wedding planner. I can't remember if I mentioned that, if I had done that 2 weeks ago or not, but I hired a wedding planner. We signed a contract, paid her deposit. I've set her free to find me the perfect venue. And she's found some great ones. We've been going back and forth on stuff, and I just booked a trip for the first weekend of August. Or no, we're past August. The first weekend of October. Rob and I are going to go for a few days to go tour some venues and pick one and pick a date, which will likely be in June of 2022, which is great. So we just want to go look in person at a few places and have a fun little weekend in Vegas. So I'll probably be hitting up Stitcher's Paradise. Is that what it's called? Paradise Stitches? I don't know. The LNS in Vegas. I've been before. It's excellent. So definitely going to fit that in at some point. I need to look up and see if they're open on Sundays. That's on my to-do list for today. I know I have Flosstube friends who live in Vegas. Y'all can tell me in the comments. Stitcher's Paradise open on Sunday? If not, I'll make it work on another day. But yeah, okay. That's all. I don't really have any other updates on the wedding stuff. I just was getting overwhelmed because I found a venue I liked and I emailed and was like almost ready to put down the deposit, but it's so much money. And then I was like, I don't know if I've really considered all my options. And there might be better places for the same amount of money or less. Who knows? Because like, I'm just doing the research from afar. So I found somebody who just does Las Vegas weddings, highly recommended, super good reviews, and she's been great. So she sent us a lot of good options. We've got a list of stuff to see in October, and yeah, and then we'll be on track. So next up, I think I need to schedule some appointments to go look at dresses. I'm not that excited about it. Because if you can't tell, I am not a size 6. So like, I just feel like I'm gonna look like a big fat snowball. Is that too real? I mean, it's fine. I'm not like the kind of person who, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm fine with what I look like. I know what I look like. It's fine. But for a wedding dress, like, I don't know. I just want to be comfortable and also feel like I look cute and not like a giant white cotton ball, right? So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of stressing about the dress, but it'll be fine. I'll find something I like. Will I leave this part in where I reveal all my insecurities? Probably. Okay. Let me wrap up because I'm babbling and I have been recording for over an hour. So this is going to be fun to edit. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all of your well wishes about my sweet birdie last week when I shared on Instagram. I'm sorry I couldn't respond to everybody, but it was so appreciated. I thank you all so much. Thank you. I won't be here next Sunday because I will be in Kansas City, but I will be back in 2 weeks with another Flosstube update. So I'll see you guys then. Bye.